Hello, everyone. The joys of technology, right? Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. I am Dr. Angelina Caniz. I am a department chair here at JCC over social sciences, health and fitness science, ACA 122, and our transfer initiatives and programs. We are so excited to have you here today for our Get Fit series. This is sponsored by the Health and Fitness Science program. I'd just like to give you some quick information about our program. It's an amazing hands-on program. We have a certificate option for our CCP students. We are working on a general certificate for traditional JCC students, and then we have a degree, AAS degree pathway as well. Our classes are really an awesome experience for our students who enjoy being in the classroom setting, but also want some hands-on experience. We spend a lot of time in our fitness center, in our aerobic room. Students will take classes such as exercise testing, preventative and exercise care injuries, group fitness, I'm drawing a blank on my title, group fitness exercises, and we have exercise programming. There's just a plethora of classes for students that are interested in learning about wellness. So we learn about physical wellness. We also learn some aspects of health wellness and mental wellness. Our students take a class called Bio 155, which is nutrition. So students that are interested in learning about wellness in that category definitely, will be exposed to those opportunities. So I would love to be able to chat with you more if you are interested in learning about our program and kind of giving you more an in-depth idea of what our program entails. But again, thank you so much for being here with us. I have dropped a Google document into the chat. If you'll please take time to fill that out, that's how we're keeping track of who all is here, and we're so grateful that you're here for our Get Fit series. Please be sure to be on the lookout for future Get Fit series, as this will continue throughout the spring semester. With all that being said, I am so happy to turn it over to our amazing health and fitness science instructor, Ms. Rose Day, who will be leading our presentation today of Crushing Your Wellness Goals in 2022.
All right, well, thank you. I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy day. I know you have other places that you've been and you chose to be here, so I thank you for that. Just to give you a little background on who I am, I have been in the health and fitness industry for over 20 years. I have worked in gyms, I have managed gyms, I have owned my own fitness facility. I currently teach exercise testing and exercise science here at Johnson Community College, which is exciting. I get to teach another whole generation the importance of exercise science and the benefits of health. I also do online training and nutrition coaching. I also do in-person training. I also do group fitness in person. I personally train 2 high school softball teams. I am a competitive athlete. I do Spartan races, obstacle course racing. If you're not familiar with that, I basically run mountains in the mud and crawl under barbed wire and over walls and other crazy stuff. I am a wife, a mom. I am a grandmother. I am a certified personal trainer and precision nutrition coach. And with all that being said, I'm hoping that today's presentation will give you a little bit of insight and help into reaching your personal goals. So I say all that not to impress you, but to have you understand that I come from the same place that you do, and that is a very busy life and still trying to manage it and reach personal goals in the process. So let's get started with this. So we're crushing our wellness goals this year, 2022, the year that we're going to make it all happen. Hopefully you reach each one of your personal and individual goals. So when we talk about wellness goals, we really first have to explain what is wellness. What does that encompass? Okay, so wellness basically is an action, all right? That's when we deliberately practicing healthy habits daily to produce better outcomes in overall wellness. So it's our daily habits. It's the things that we do each and every day that will produce the outcome that we desire. So when we talk about wellness, we're also talking about 7 different dimensions of wellness. And the first one on that is, and this is in no particular order. Hold on, technical difficulties. Trying to get this presentation to show for you guys. Shoot from this side. Is that showing in yours?
It's showing, but it's showing the regular window.
I don't need that.
As I said earlier, the joys of technology, right?
Entire screen. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, so as we said, we're talking about daily healthy habits to produce better overall outcomes. And when we're looking at wellness, there are 7 different dimensions. Now, when I say wellness, you're going to immediately think of something in particular in your mind. Usually people affiliate that right away with physical fitness and health, which is fine, but there are several other areas that are just as important. And these 7 areas are in no particular order. There's not one more important than the other. They basically all work together for overall wellness. So when we talk about spiritual wellness, what are we actually talking about? We're actually talking about consistency with our values and our beliefs, right? We're encompassing a high level of faith, hope, commitment to our individual beliefs. And it basically provides us with a meaning and purpose in life, all right? Having a purpose in life. And I think that's important to have. It keeps us with hope. It keeps us, striving for something, knowing that we have a purpose in life. The other dimension is emotional. So what is an emotional wellness? What does that look like? Basically, that's recognizing and accepting healthy expressions of your feelings. And those feelings are happiness, hope, love, joy, sadness, anger. You feel it, it's real, and you need to accept and recognize it. And when we're talking about emotional wellness, it's also talking about self-esteem and self-acceptance. And I think this is an area where a lot of us could use a little bit more work as far as accepting who we are and loving who we are. So awareness of and accepting a wide range of feelings, not just in yourself, but in others. So acknowledging the emotional wellness in other people, that's important. Our next dimension is physical, and that's the one that I think we all tend to gravitate towards. And we're talking about maintaining a healthy quality of life. It basically helps us get through our daily activities without fatigue or physical stress. So optimal physical wellness, we need that through a combination of good exercise and eating habits. This is my area of expertise, and I'll be talking more about this dimension over the others, but I want to make sure that you're aware of some of the other dimensions that exist. Intellectual, for those of you at JCC or in the education field, I'm sure you appreciate this dimension of wellness, because the mind should be continually exercised as much as the body. So we're looking at spending more time pursuing personal interests, reading, taking workshops, learning something new, right? Always challenging our mind as much as we challenge our body. That is important. And there's a lot of studies done on Alzheimer's and the prevention of Alzheimer's by keeping the mind active, and that is a topic for another day. But moving on, we have occupational dimension. Basically, that's your career and finding personal fulfillment from the job or career that you've chosen. And a nice balance with that with overall life, okay? Not putting everything in one dimension, but making sure you have equality within all. And in occupational dimension, basically, you want to use your gifts to enhance the organization that you work for and basically society as a whole. That's how we have wellness in the occupational dimension. And then social dimension, this is another one that I know over the last couple of years with COVID actually was one that we all suffered with. And it's really the ability to relate and connect with other people in the world. We are social animals. We are meant to socialize. And that has been kind of taken away from us a little bit. So finding new ways to reach out to people, new ways to stay connected with the people around us, maintaining positive relationships with family, friends, co-workers, and also showing respect for others, for yourself, and for other cultures. That's important. And then environmental dimension, that's basically the ability to recognize your responsibility for the world that we live in, the quality of the air, the water, the land, the ability to make a positive impact on the world around us. And that comes through some of our own personal choices. So when we look at wellness overall, and we're talking about how we want to improve our wellness, we're all going to be looking at this a little bit differently, and that is okay. Maybe your emotional and intellectual and occupational dimension is thriving, and you need to work on other areas. What I encourage you to do is to write down these 7 dimensions. And for those of you who are here, I gave you a sheet that you can write that down on. Write down those 7 dimensions and put them in the order of importance to you. Because when you know how important something is, then when you go to make changes in that area, you'll know why. You'll know why it's important because of your list. You'll put whys to it, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So when we go and we talk about making changes and things that we want to change, we have wishes, resolutions, and goals. What are wishes? Wishes, we all have wishes, right? We wish we had a better job. We wish we were thinner. By the way, I do not like the term thinner because thinner does not equate to health. However, we tend to use that term, so I'm using the term that I know most people use. So I wish I was thinner. I wish I had more time with friends. I wish, I wish, I wish. What are wishes? Basically, that's your genie in the bottle. And if you find that genie, please pass that on. I would love to rub her lamp. But that's all they're ever going to be, are wishes that are never fulfilled because we've taken no action on them. We've just spoken about things that we'd like to have at some point in our life with no plan. Now we have resolutions, and we all have made resolutions over the year. And I like this cartoon because I think it just hits the spot right on. What exactly is a New Year's resolution? It's a to-do list for the first week of January. How true is that? We can all relate at some point in our life to exactly what that is. We say January 1st, oh, this is the year I'm going to do X, Y, Z. 2 weeks later, you're like, forget X, Y, Z. I am just way too busy. It's not working. It's not for me. I don't know what I was thinking. Whatever it is that you say at that point, and by the end of January, it's a no-go. This is also, if you're in the gym industry, when we see the most people enter a gym, and within 2 months later, most people exit the gym or just never show up. And that is unfortunate. So how do we make that how do we change that? Well, here are some resolution facts if you think that the resolution you made this year is 100% guaranteed to work. First off, only 45% of people actually make a New Year's resolution. So we have 55% of people who aren't even starting off with a resolution. They're just said, nope, I'm not making any changes. So we have 45% of people making a resolution. Out of that 45%, 8% are successful at achieving that resolution. That's a really small percentage. And it has to make you question why. Why such a small number? I hope you are one of that 8%, and I can help make you one of that 8%. But then we also look at some more stats. It's 36 days is the average period Americans keep their resolutions. So average meaning that there are people who are dropping off, like the cartoon said, in week 1, and those that make it to about July. At July, we have about a 41% drop-off rate on resolution. So you're just about halfway through the year, and it's over. You've given up on all of it. Now, given all that, the same poll people, 62% of Americans said they're expecting better health in 2022. Well, that's interesting because only 45% are making resolutions and only 8% are going to be successful, but yet 62% are saying they expect better health. How do they expect this better health? How is this going to happen? You know, we need something more than just putting words out into the air. We need a plan. So I like this chart because it kind of helps put people into categories. I like categories. So if you don't know where you belong, I actually label them with years, whether you're a Gen Z, Gen X, baby boomer, silent generation. But breaking this all down into generations, we have the reasons why, or the reasons that they gave for why they were unsuccessful in accomplishing their goal. And I highlighted that second column, which says, don't have the willpower. That's what they said. That in every generation was the main reason they were unable to fulfill their resolution. They don't have the willpower. So merely saying something, wishing it, using a resolution, saying this is what I'm going to do this year, isn't enough. We need to do more than that. Now, I look at some of these other categories and I'm kind of intrigued. I kind of want to know and speak to somebody, especially the millennials, on always forget. I'm not quite sure how that happens, how you forget that you've made a resolution, but yeah, it happens. You know, I just forgot that I said I wanted to do this. So I guess that does happen. And too lazy, that's actually a very honest answer. Anyone who's willing to say that they were too lazy to make it happen, I commend them for acknowledging their downfall there. Usually people blame it on no time. That's always been a big reason for people not meeting their resolutions. I don't have the time. If COVID has taught us anything, or 2019 has taught us anything, is that people had all the time in the world and they still weren't accomplishing their goals. And then COVID, obviously, you know, that's understandable. You know, COVID, gyms were shut down, businesses were shut down. Depending on what your goals were, that might have made it a little bit more difficult. So I do give some understanding there, but I want to focus on the don't have the willpower. So what does that mean? So now we change from wishes and resolutions to goals. Goals are the answer. It's where we change from an I wish to an I will. Let me repeat that. You change from an I wish to an I will. So we set goals. For those of you here, I actually gave you a sheet where you can put down 3 goals that you want to accomplish this year. You don't have to put all 3, you can put 1, but I do encourage you, and if you're watching via Zoom, I encourage you to write down an I will statement. I will what? I will, I know Jeff, you're watching, so I will what? I will get back that strength recover from that injury. Whatever your goal is, I want you to write it down right now. Writing is important. And what can those statements look like? Maybe that is an I will eat healthy, or I will exercise 30 minutes, 3 days a week, or I will, whatever it is for you. Again, my expertise is in fitness and nutrition, so I'm a little bit more focused on that, but it could be anything, any one of those 7 dimensions of wellness. So what do we need for successful goals? We need to be anchored to a why. What does that mean? Why do you want to accomplish this goal? I ask every person I have ever trained, why do you want this? Why is it important to you? The stronger your why, the greater your success, and I'll explain why. Someone comes to me and says, Rose, I need to lose 20 pounds. My question is why? I just don't like the way I feel. Why? Because I can't climb the stairs at my house without being winded. I can't play with my kids in the backyard. They're getting a little bit older, and I just can't run around with them the way that they want. Now we start getting into a deeper why. It's not that she doesn't or he doesn't like the way he looks or she looks. It's really about what they can do, and what's important to them is their kids. Their kids are important. Being able to function in daily living without getting fatigued. That's what we said in the beginning wellness was, right? So being able to do that which you want to do healthy. That might be for that individual. Again, another person might come to me, an older individual, and say, doctor told me to come here. Because if not, I'm going to be on medication and they're going to give me less than 10 years to live. Okay, so I mean, obviously death is always a good reason to get healthy, but it's also a fact of life. So why is it important to you now? Why at this point? Then you kind of ask that question like an 8-year-old, why, until you get down to that basic element of, for this individual was, I have grandkids and I want to be able to be around for them. That's important. That's important to them. That is their strong why. That is their anchor. And I talk about anchors because you can come to me day 1 through I'll even give you day 14. Motivation that, oh yes, ooh, raw feeling that you have in the beginning is not going to be there. It's going to go away. You're going to wake up, your alarm is going to go off, and you're going to be like, heck no, I don't feel like going, right? But if you're anchored to a strong why, you're not doing this for any other, you're doing this for the kids. You're doing this to leave a legacy. You're doing this for some strong reason that's going to get you up out of that bed. That ooh-rah feeling, don't count on it. That's great when it shows up. There'll be days it'll show up. But on the days that it doesn't, what's going to make you continue pursuing your goal? That is your why. I strongly encourage you to take some time, think about your why, and write it down next to your goal. Okay, write down that goal, write down your why. Now, your goal also has to be created from a place of self-love. And I speak about this because all too often I work with people who say they just don't like who they are. If you don't like who you are at 200 pounds, you're not going to like yourself anymore at 125 pounds. Okay, liking yourself is not equated to weight. I need to make that perfectly clear and repeat that. You are not your weight size. That is not who you are. And again, I'm speaking goals pertaining to physical health. You need to love yourself in order to accomplish great things. You need to be able to say, I'm doing this because I love myself, not to punish myself. We don't work out to punish ourselves. We work out to make ourselves stronger, better, healthier. We work out to stick around and see our grandchildren. We do it because we love ourselves, not hate ourselves. So I can't emphasize that enough. And when you're making up goals, a journey is always better with friends. Friends, 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 we need them, right? And for any long journey, we need to have friends by our side. What does this look like? This can look like a couple of different things. You need a support group. You need people who are going to be there and say, hey, how's it going? Angelina, how's that, you know, you said you were going to XYZ gym. How's that working out for you? How do you like that class? Or how's that, you know, I know you were meal prepping last week. I saw some pictures, you know, like tell me about it. Or how's that going? Or do you know, you just need people around you to say, good job, keep going, I'm here to support you. And maybe that person is also going to be the person that you call up and say, hey, I'm really having a hard time right now. And they're going to be there to be that voice of encouragement. Okay, you don't necessarily always need a trainer, a coach. I mean, I highly encourage that, but you don't always need that if you have a strong support network, a strong why, and a focused goal. So again, journey is always better with friends. And an understanding that habits take time to create as well as to break. A lot of times we say, I'm going to stop doing this, I'm going to stop doing that, I'm going to stop eating this, but we don't replace it with anything. So now we have all these voids that we need to fill. So we need to make replacement habits, right? So I'm going to stop eating potato chips while I'm watching Netflix. Okay, so now you stopped eating potato chips. You're still watching Netflix. What are you doing? You know that all you're thinking about are those potato chips. So what are we replacing it with? You know, maybe that's the time to make small changes and we replace it with something a little bit healthier, right? A healthier option. And that looks different for everybody, so I'm not going to give you examples on that. But we make small changes. You can't just take away habits and not put new habits in place. You also have to understand that habit you created happened over time. It just wasn't one day and it became a habit. It took weeks, months, maybe years. And now you need to replace it with a new habit that might take weeks, months, years to become unconscious go-to habits. So being patient with yourself is definitely something I highly recommend. You need to be patient with yourself because it does not happen overnight. Anyone coming back from an injury can speak volumes on the need for patience to get where you want to be, back to where you want to be. So what kind of strategy do we implement? We implement what's called the SMART strategy. I'm sure many of you have already heard of this in some way, shape, or form. And what does SMART stand for? Specific. We want to be specific in our goals. To say, I want to lose weight or I want to eat healthy is not specific. What does that look like specifically? Well, you could say, I want to add 2 more cups of vegetables to my daily diet. Okay, that's specific. That's specific. So we are talking very, like, now we know we can be specific. I want to lose weight. What does that look like? Well, I want to lose 15 pounds. Okay, now we have a number that's specific. It needs to be measurable. Can we measure it? Again, I want to add 2 cups of vegetables to my daily diet. So yes, that's very measurable, right? We can measure out 2 cups and know that that's what we're doing. We can get on a scale and measure out 15 pounds. We can see that. So something that is measurable. Attainable. This is always important. And with people that I speak to, this sometimes has to be modified. I want to lose 50 pounds in 2 months for a wedding that I'm in. Okay, well, that might not be attainable right now. We might need to, that really falls on me realistic as well. But maybe you think you need to lose 20 pounds, but your body measurements and body fat percentage tell me a different story, and that you really don't need to lose any more than 8. And we just need to like recomposite your body. So it might not be attainable. You might not reach that number, right? And there's no way that you're going to have the body that you had at 18 if you're over the age of 50. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. I've been trying, it's just not working. So is it attainable? And realistic goes in line with attainable. Like I said, is it realistic that you're going to lose 50 pounds in 2 months? No, that's probably not realistic. And that would be my place as your coach to tell you, hey, this is what we're looking at. If I break this down, we're looking at an average of 1.5 to 2 pounds a week. What does that look like over time? This is your timeline. And we set realistic goals. When you have realistic goals, you don't get disappointed and you don't feel like you're failing because they're realistic. You can accomplish them, right? If you try for a goal that you can't accomplish, you're going to be disappointed each and every time. And timely. What does that mean? Well, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, by when? This week, next month, next year? You know, when is that timeline? What's that timeline that you're giving yourself to accomplish that goal? Timelines are very important. I mean, they exist everywhere. We have deadlines that we need to meet. We have, you know, in the classroom, we give deadlines for when assignments are due. And, you know, we personally have deadlines. You know, you have deadlines in work. So you need to have deadlines for your goals. You need to put them in a timely fashion so that you know, hey, I said I was doing this by September, so now you lay out a plan that gets you there by September. So smart, stay smart when you're creating your goals. So what's your story? So we all have a story, right? We all have a story that we tell ourselves or that we tell other people, and that usually revolves around why we can't accomplish things, right? Well, I'm just not that good. That's just not me. That's just not how I'm made. Or I just can't do that, right? We tell ourselves that all the time. And even if we don't verbalize that to other people, we are telling that to ourselves. That is your story. So do you think what you tell yourself is going to produce positive results if you're telling a negative story? Right. So we need to speak positively about ourselves. Right? That again, going back to the why you want to accomplish this. And one of the other things that I do when I do intake assessments, you know, I ask a lot of questions, you know, what your goals are, you know, why haven't you accomplished them in the past? It puts people in a negative spot of like, oh my God, I tried this like 10 times and I've never been able to succeed. So they start getting into that negative mindset. And I like to take a minute and ask them, tell me 3 positive qualities about yourself. That's it, just 3. So right now, I want you to think about 3 positive qualities that you possess and write them down. I'm actually going to give you time to write this down because I think it's that important. I didn't go anywhere. I'm just waiting for you to write it down. So if you're looking at the screen wondering what's next, it's you putting a pen on a paper and writing down your 3 positive attributes. Now, why do I ask this? Because I think all too often we focus again on what's negative about us and not what's positive. And I can't tell you, when I originally created this assessment at the end, it was really just to kind of put people in a positive mindset by the end of our session. And I realized that it turned into something a lot more than that, because I can't tell you how many times people have sat in front of me, giving them the time to answer that question and have actually cried and then respond by saying, I can't think of anything. You know, that goes to the center of my heart, because we all possess great qualities. They might be different from each other, and that's okay. There's no one better quality than the other. That's what being unique is all about, right? But we all possess qualities. You know, maybe you're just very timely. That's awesome, because I'm going to count on you to make sure things get done when they're supposed to get done, all right? Maybe you're a great cook. Hey, I might need you to meal prep for me, right? Or maybe you're a good listener. That's an awesome quality. We all need good listeners. I think we all speak too much and listen too little. So we all have great qualities. And it's about spending a little time and saying, you know, what do I possess that's good? You know, what is good within me? You need to have a different story. You need to tell yourself a different story. And one of the other things that I like to tell people to do, some have done it, some have not, is to write a little I love me statement and put it on a Post-it on a mirror. I love me because, and it could be anything. I love me because I'm smart. I love me because I make people smile. I love me because I'm strong. I don't care what your love me statement is. That doesn't matter. It matters to you. Why do you love you? So rewrite that story. That's what we need to accomplish. So here we are at the secret to success. I wish I could say I invented this and that this is the ultimate hidden secret, but the secret really is no secret. I've based my description of success on the pillars of Spartan because I found it extremely helpful over the years. So stamina. What does it mean when we say we have stamina? Basically, yeah.
We're able to keep going.
Right, to be able to keep going, right? To be able to last without. Now, often we put that to an event maybe, or, you know, to exercise, which is important, right? We want to have the stamina to last through 30 minutes on the treadmill, right? You want to be able to have that stamina, but stamina is also mental, okay? And it's about finishing the task regardless of external or mental barriers. They're going to come. Barriers are going to come. It's life. But it's the mental stamina that's going to keep you from stopping and giving up. Okay? It's about knowing that you're going to finish that task irregardless. And again, we know we're going to finish. Why? Exactly. We're based in our why. Right? It all goes back to the why. So our next secret is no secret. It's power. So when we think of power, what do we think of?
Strong. Leader.
What's that?
Leadership.
Leadership. Okay. So strong leadership. Those are all correct. Now we transfer that into a mental power. What does mental power mean? Well, basically a belief that you can, right? That you can do this. That you're stronger than you think. And I will share a little bit. I've been asked to complete something that I do not want to complete on any level of consciousness, because I think that it's almost impossible to do. But I've been reminded that it's not impossible, that I just have to make it happen. Angelina knows what I'm talking about. So it's, again, going into that mental state of believing that you can, knowing that you can. That's going to carry you through, okay? Again, that goes to your story, right? The story that you tell yourself. So power, that's another secret. Athleticism. When we're talking athleticism, what are we talking about? Dominic, what are we talking about with athleticism?
How athletic you are.
And what does that mean to you?
Physically in shape. That's what I think of when I think of an athlete. They're always being physical or aware of their physical being. Okay,
Yeah, so being an athlete, being aware of their physical being. When I think of athleticism, I think about the ability to move quickly, right, to react quickly. So when we take athleticism from the physical and we apply it mentally, we're talking about being proactive, right? We're talking about being reactive and adaptive, right? So if you're on the football field and, you know, a play is being done and you need to make a quick adjustment in that play at the last minute, right? You are now adapting to that new scenario. And we need to do that in life too, because everything is not always going to go as planned. If you haven't already experienced that in life, that's great, but that will happen. Life will not go as planned. Things will come up, things will change. And how adaptive can you be during those times, right? So we want to be mentally athletic, being able to quickly move, adjust, you know, react in a positive way. So that's athleticism. And then readiness. I highlight this in red because I think it's one of the most, I think that's where everything starts. And readiness. So if you don't know who Mark Devine is, he's the creator of SEAL Fit. He was a Navy SEAL and just an amazing individual. Book was great. Basically, he states that you need to win in the mind first before you can win anywhere else. All right, that's a state of readiness. And it's the biggest reason why people fail is because they don't win in their mind first. Okay, being ready, knowing, going in with the attitude of a win, going in with the attitude of success. A lot of times, and you hear it every year, yeah, I think I'm going to try to quit smoking this year. Okay, well, let's see how that goes, because I'm going to put you into that 92% of people who don't accomplish their goals. Because you're already setting it up to, well, I might possibly not do it, right? So a state of readiness, mental readiness. Tenacity, I love tenacity. What does tenacity mean?
The ability to keep going when things get rough.
Yes, when things get rough and challenging, right? The ability to keep going. Right, so a little different than stamina. Stamina is just the ability to last, right? To see your goals to the end. Where tenacity is like, things are rough and tough, and I'm still going to be determined to make it happen. So determination, like a strong determination, right?
Grit in the chat.
Yes, grit, definitely. And you know, that presents itself when we're talking about goals. The obstacles that come in the way of that, you know, I mean, maybe that, you know, family dynamics change, maybe, you know, there's a death, or there's a celebration, or there's a lost job, a new job, a move, any of those things, right, create great changes for us. But yet, to stay determined to our goal, we need tenacity. We need mental tenacity.
Pandemic.
Right, a pandemic is a great example, right? And now, not only do we need tenacity, but we need stamina, because now we're like two plus years. So we need tenacity and stamina. If you set any kind of goal in the beginning of 2019 and you're accomplishing it, kudos to you. You need to be up here next to me talking about how you have accomplished this. And then we have attitude, and I think a lot of things always go back to our attitude, and kind of, these all overlap with each other. Your previous failures don't matter, okay? You need to stay with a positive state of mind. That attitude of this, I'm doing this, why, with a positive statement, not the, oh my God, I gotta go to the gym again, right? Oh my God, I'm eating celery again. All right, which, by the way, you can eat more than celery. Having a positive attitude. I get to do this. I get to go to the gym today. I get to see Coach Rose today and do those burpees. I get to take another step closer to my goal, right? How we approach something, our attitude in approaching something is huge and can make a big difference. And then nutrition. Again, I'm looking at, you know, from a physical perspective, food is fuel. And I think somewhere along the line, we've lost what actually food is. Food is fuel. We need it. We need a good amount of it. We don't push our car to the fuel station. We fuel our car to take us where we want to go. So the same is true with our body. We need to fuel our body to get it to go where we need to go. All right, and we need to give it the right kinds of nutrition. And that's another topic. Hopefully you'll join us for that one. So now what happens when we slip up? We've all slipped up. We've all had that moment in time where we're like, oh gosh darn it, I can't believe I failed at this again. Well, there's a couple of things that you need to be aware of. One is the abstinence violation effect. This is used a lot with cognitive behavior therapy. Usually it's done or applied to addictions, alcohol and drug addiction. However, this can be used for and applied and has been for goals and any kind of goals that we have. So what does it actually mean? It's basically when an individual deviates from your plan, okay, or your goal, and you continue to remain off that path, whether from frustration, shame, guilt, etc., right? So it's like, oh, well, I ate a donut today, so I might as well eat whatever the rest of the day. We've been there. You're at a work, meeting, and they provided donuts and brownies, and you ate them, and now you think your diet is now done for the day. I might as well just stop on my way home at Chick-fil-A or Burger King or wherever else, and there goes my entire day. It's important to know that one mistake does not equate to a whole goal being lost. And the abstinence violation effect also reinforces old ideas. It basically brings forth that thought of, I just can't lose weight, or I can't get fit, or this, I don't have that ability. That's not who I am. Again, going back to the story that you tell yourself, and again, going back to the why you started this in the first place. So see how this all kind of comes together. So the abstinence violation effect is something to be aware of, because when we make mistakes, we need to know that failure is just feedback, unless you quit. Right? So failure is feedback. You're not going to be perfect. Do we expect perfection from the students that we teach? No, we do not expect perfection. We expect best effort. And that looks different for every student. So why should that be different for ourselves when we talk about our goals? If you're giving best effort, it's not going to be 100%. But it's going to be the best that you can do at this moment in time. And we need to remember that. Success is about progress, not perfection. I like to go by the 80-20 rule. That means 80% of the time I am successful, and I have a 20% leeway of messing up. Now that doesn't mean I find ways to get to my 20%. It means that I allow for that. Maybe that's a surprise party that I'm going to. Maybe it's lunch with my friends that involves a glass of wine. Maybe that's whatever, a day that I can't work out because I'm visiting a friend. You allow that 20% so that you're not stressed out that you're not meeting your goal. You are meeting your goal. This is your 20%. Relax, have some patience with yourself.
Monisha shared, I don't carry today into tomorrow.
Oh, I love it. That is awesome. I'm actually going to utilize that. Repeat that. I do not take today.
I don't carry today into tomorrow.
Love it. Love it. And again, this goes also back to positive reinforcement versus the negative self-talk. Like, oh God, I had that donut. I'm a horrible person. I'm whatever, versus, okay, I had a donut, not the worst thing in the world. How do I rebound from this, right? And then you go back to your determination, your tenacity, your stamina, and all of that, and reset. So here's 5 steps to starting over. First is understanding your weaknesses. I will tell you that I love double stuffed Oreos. There is no doubt about it. I don't care what I'm training for or what I'm doing. If there are double stuffed Oreos, I will eat them, and a lot of them. I love them. So they are not in my house. I have tried this multiple times, buying them, keeping them in my house, and saying they're for anybody else but me. But I end up eating more than 3/4 of that, that cookie case because I love them. So why do I keep making the same mistake? That's where you need to know what your weaknesses are. It is okay to have weaknesses. It's a matter of how do you respond to that? I no longer buy them. I think I'm the only person who's upset by that, but I no longer buy them. They are not in my house, so therefore I cannot be tempted by them, and I can stay a little bit more on track. You want to also hone in on what triggered the setback. What happened at that moment that made you fail, right? What were you thinking, feeling at that moment? Was it stress? Was it a moment of, that's usually a big one for people. I was stressed out and you went and you just ate whatever was there, right? Or maybe you just equate food with celebration. So anytime there's something positive, exciting happening, you have to celebrate with food, right? Knowing this is important because that's how we change habits. That's how we can shift from, I'm Italian, everything is about food. If we're sad, we eat. If we're happy, we eat. If someone else is happy, we eat. If someone else is sad, we eat, okay? We just like to eat. So changing those habits is hard when you come from a mindset of food is equated to every emotion that we feel. So learning that and knowing that is the first step in being able to change that. And then knowing how or what do you want to change next time? How do you want to approach that the next time it happens? I worked with a client and I use her as an example all the time because I don't even think I would do this. She was working with me, was dead set on a goal, and she had a party coming up, and she told me she food prepped before the party. I think the party was like about an hour away from her. She ate in her car before going into the party so she wouldn't be tempted by the food at the party. I'm not gonna lie, that's where my 20% comes in. I wanna know what party food is out there, and I think I'm pretty much gonna eat it. But again, it goes back to determination, goals. It's very, very disciplined. She's a very disciplined individual. So we make a plan. What do you want to change? Is it, if you're going into a work meeting and they're going to have all these dessert type things, maybe the plan is to bring something of your own, something healthy that you can snack on while everyone else is munching on donuts. Because if you think you're going to sit there and not eat and watch everybody else eat, likelihood is no, that's not going to happen. You will probably succumb to that. So knowing the how and what you want to change so you can be better prepared. And then again, looking at the pros and cons of starting over. Like what are the benefits to starting over? What are the cons to starting over? Obviously, nobody wants to be at that beginning stage of starting over. And I don't like to use the term starting over. I like to use the term progression. We have progressed. We have not failed. We have received feedback on our actions, and I am now progressing to another stage. Doesn't that sound a lot more positive, right? It's not like, oh God, I got to start over. No, I have feedback, I'm learning, and I'm progressing. Now, unless you quit, of course, then you got to live with all of that. But feedback, progression, continue on. That's how we become the 8%. That is how we are the ones talking about how we accomplished our goals amidst the chaos of life and amidst all the things that we have going on in our life. We were able to zero in, focus, and achieve those goals. So that is all I have today. Hopefully that has helped you in not just setting goals, but helping you to prepare for any setback that you might accomplish. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'd love to help you out or answer anything. We have a few minutes. So hopefully this has been helpful. And again, I thank you for your time, taking time out to spend it with me. I appreciate it.
Monisha said this was a great presentation.
Thank you, Anisha. I appreciate that.
Got some thank yous coming in. Any questions? Remember, there's no silly questions, and a lot of this presentation can be adapted to so many areas of your life. Please utilize Rose's expertise. She is awesome. I felt attacked through a lot of the presentation.
I wasn't looking at you for any particular reason. Now, if you have any questions, you can always shoot them to me. You can reach me at itsalifestyle.rosedye@gmail. Feel free to send me any questions that you have. I'd love to help you out. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is rose.dye. I do post recipes there, so if you're in need of like maybe some healthy recipes or ideas or motivation, I try to supply some of that. So feel free to follow me there as well.
Can you say your Instagram handle again?
Sure, it's rose.dye, D-E-Y.
I've also dropped in the chat Rose's JCC email address. Please feel free to utilize that anytime. I've also provided my email address. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. Somebody did ask, how can we access the recording? So again, I'm going to go ahead and drop the Google document form in the chat. If you make sure that you fill that out, there's going to be a spot that asks for your email address, and I'll be sharing materials from the presentation as well as the recording via email.
Rose, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, I've lost my grid view, so I can't see myself. I don't know if you can see me or not, but Rose has been a friend of mine for almost 2 decades, and she knows I'm going through my own situation of recovery from an injury situation. And I wanted to reiterate something she said about friends during these times, whether it be a diet goal, a blood health goal, a fitness goal, recovery from injury goal. Having friends do it with you is key. I was having a rough moment about a week ago, and I called Rose up, and she gave me the pep talk I needed to get back on track. And I'm in the gym every day, even though I'm not powerlifting what I was just a few months ago. I'm in there every day, and it's a huge asset to have friends doing it with you, for sure.
I appreciate that, Jeff, and I expect great things coming back from you.
Oh, I'm coming for you, lady.
Alrighty, before I let you all go, I would just like to tell you some quick activities that are coming up in our Get Fit series. Our next seminar, which will be after this one on February 23rd at 10 a.m., also led by Miss Rose Day. We'll be talking about nutrition and feeling burnt out from meal planning and meal prepping. And then she's going to see how you all did on your goals from this seminar. So we hope you'll join us for that presentation. Again, I will send out all meeting ideas and links via email. So make sure you filled out that Google document. For anybody that would like to join us for some workouts, February is Healthy Heart Month, and so we're going to have a few workouts on February 16th on campus at 12:30. We'll have another one the next week on February 24th at 12:30. Our first one, we're going to be working with stability balls and working through some stability exercises. And our second one is going to be a yoga workout. So we're super excited. We have some fun things planned and coming up. And the last thing I'd like to let you all know is we are in the works of finalizing a continuing education workout class. We will be offering the workout class on Monday and Wednesdays from 4 to 5 p.m. And it will be led by our HFS instructor, Ashanti Robinson. So mark your calendars, be on the lookout. Again, all details will be sent out to you via email, but we'll hope you'll come and join us for all these awesome Get Fit series activities we got going on. Again, thank you so much for being present today. We appreciate you. Thank you to Miss Rose Day for her awesome presentation, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you, Rose. I appreciate it. I was going to talk about your fabulous apple crisp recipe that was low cal that you made for when you came to my house, but so you can definitely still have sweet treats, but it being low cal.
That's my 20%.
I started using the trivia in baking, and then the other day I actually substituted my my eggs with Greek yogurt and for my banana bread, and it came out very good. So
Nice, yeah.
it's small little efforts, but it, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Thanks, Angelina. Great job, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye. We can go ahead and